Greetings from the Rocky Mountains. I am Rabbi Dr. Tirzah Firestone, and I thank you for the invitation to say a few words on behalf of this symposium and our beloved teacher, Rabbi Zalman Schachter Shalomi of blessed memory. This year I will be celebrating my 30th year as a rabbi. I was ordained privately by Reb Zalman before there was a renewal ordination program. And the work I do today as a psychologist and rabbi, mining the Jewish tradition for its beautiful jewels, the jewels with healing properties, and digging for root medicine, to find teachings that are thousands of years after they have been spoken but are still so potent. All of my work really stemmed from our Rebbe. Reb Zalman was the great teacher in my life, and I think that he would want to put this symposium into the context of the immensely challenging era in which we're living. And he would also, side by side with that, he would also insist that we not forget that we are alive at one of the richest eras of spiritual history, in which so many wisdom traditions are available to us. So much global connectivity, to use one of his words, and also such an abundance of rich findings from the world of science. Today, I would like to share a teaching that Reb Zalman gave over many times, and with your permission, to expand upon it, to show Reb Zalman's prescience and insight that he was likely not even aware of when he taught it. The teaching is about the ancient ritual of tefillin, or phylacteries. What strange objets religieux these are, made of black leather straps and black boxes stuffed with sacred parchments. You may know that one of the boxes are worn on the bicep of your non-dominant hand, and the other one at the hairline of one's head, just above the third eye. Today, not only males over 13 don these frontlets and straps, but also females who would like to. Reb Zalman was certainly a major proponent of the relatively recent reappropriation of tefillin, so that today girls and women who want to do this mystical practice are welcome in all branches of progressive Judaism to do so. Well, Reb Zalman taught a virtual laying of tefillin that I'd like to show to you. But first, let me say that as a psychologist and student of neuroscience, intrigued with the genius of the brain, I started to understand that the gentle daily pressure points that the boxes, both of them, and the straps exert on us have a powerful effect to stimulate our brain. So would you join me for a moment? Humor me. I invite you to place one or two fingers right where the shell roche goes, the box that goes over the frontlet, and just touch yourself here on your upper third eye, a spot above your two eyes close to your hairline. So just place a couple of fingers here, and this is where the shell roche sits, the black box for the head, and one or two fingers right at the nape of your neck at the occipital line. And this is where your spinal column meets the back of your skull, where the knot of leather presses into you. If you were to wear the actual box and straps, making the shape, it's tied in the formation of the Daled, the letter Daled. Now, would you close your eyes? And as Reb Zalman asked, imagine a line connecting your two hands, connecting these 2 points. You can imagine this line as a ray of light running through your head, really just running right through your brain. A loving, gentle light or a laser beam, you can imagine it in any way. So get that line transecting your head. touching both of those points, and now with your focus, go to the very center point between your two hands. Imagine that center point and slide it back just a bit toward your back hand. This is a very important spot, so take a moment to find this point. Good. Now you may rest your hands if they're tired, but keeping your focus at that small spot at the very center of your brain, your head. And on that spot, I invite you to imagine a tiny image of yourself sitting there, completely at peace, completely serene. That's you seeing yourself very still and serene with a slight smile on your face, this tiny you. And feel it's this little you pulsating with peace, radiating peace from this spot, radiating it out and filling your entire head, your breath, your body. Notice if this tiny you, this serene self, has a message for you today, has any reassurance for you, for your life. Beautiful. You may keep this inner focus for as long as you like and feel the pulsations of peace and goodness filling you as you open your eyes. This spot that's stimulated by the tefillin that Reb Zalman activated with that meditation is indeed a holy spot. It's nestled deep in our brain. This is where the very tiny pineal gland sits. Now, what is the pineal gland? It's a neuroendocrine organ, and its primary function is to let in light and darkness. Therefore, it was called in medieval times the third eye. In various cultures, the pineal was seen as the doorway to the seat of the soul. It's called the seat of the soul. It's a gate that leads to inner realms of higher consciousness. And because it secretes melatonin, it controls our ability to adjust to darkness, to rest in uncertainty. Now, interestingly, for those of you who know Hebrew, pineal reads in Hebrew letters Panei El, the face of God. This peaceful, steady, wise self that we just visited is one of Panei El, one of God's faces. It can also mean facing God, a place that our ancestors understood they could go to rebalance and realign whenever they wore the tefillin. It would be a realignment and a remembrance of divinity and the light of divinity. Now, they knew nothing about the brain, perhaps, but their rituals and their intention, the intentionality of their prayers and this ritual of tefillin had a powerful effect on the central nervous system. Reb Zalman taught that being peaceful in our world doesn't mean turning away from darkness, but knowing how to work with it, how to rest into it, how to stay rooted in our calm and rooted to divinity, rooted to God. What the Buddhists might call the Buddha, our Buddha nature, and what we might call the inner tzaddik lives right here between the shel rosh and the back knot. And that's what Reb Zalman taught, perhaps not even knowing what he was activating in us. The calming of our nervous systems. I give this to you now, this little teaching. Thank you for the opportunity to join you. Have a wonderful symposium.